9 minutes to start time. Six and a half minutes to start. Five minutes to start time. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check. I know.
What is that smell?
It's me. No, it's not. Check 1 2. What is going on? Check 1 2. What the hell just happened?
Whose Altoids are this?
Mine.
Can I have one?
Yeah, I hope so.
Thanks.
Check.
The train wreck that I am.
I don't want the audience
It's like how you like to
breath.
watch train wrecks.
Yeah,
No, I love train wrecks. They're great.
It's train wreck watching.
Yeah,
Train
yeah.
wreck spotting. Sorry.
Yeah.
Check. Check 1
Train
2.
wreck
Check
spotting.
1
They don't
2.
wreck, it's really
Check.
boring.
Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
It's much better than camel spotting.
Oh boy.
All right.
Not my camel.
Thank you for joining us for season 21, episode 7
If you say so.
of Happyjacks RPG podcast, live from Orccon 2018. And my name is Stu, and we have a panel up here of a few people. Want to go ahead and start there, Godal?
Good evening. My name is Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I've been playing role-playing games for years. And I have a problem.
Is it a problem or is it the solution? Yeah.
Both.
Why not both?
Hold on. Just for those people listening at home after the fact, I forgot to hit the recorder. This is Happyjacks RPG Podcast 21, Season 21, Episode 7, live from Orccon 2018. Is everyone having a good time? Okay, and then we introduced Dave. Don't worry about Dave. It wasn't that funny. Go ahead.
Yeah. There was a Dave. There's also Jason. Hello. Tappy's dead. Tappy just died. There is only Jason now. One Mohawk to rule them all.
This is Kurt.
And this is Tappy.
All right, and we have a live studio audience. Hello, live studio audience. Before we begin, it is tradition, of course, to ask Mr. Aldrich to come up here to see what the numbers are for the convention, because it's Saturday evening. The convention's been running for a day and a half. Want to come around over on this side over here?
Saturday night.
That way we can be on camera. Oh, and by the way, so all of you to know,
Night.
you guys did that same thing all the time. Anyway, just so you all know, we're streaming this live, and there's a camera here. So if you come up and talk, if you don't want your face on the internet, stand here. If you want your face on the internet, stand here. So, see, no more. Gotta get close. I did that on purpose. Come on. Oh.
That's important.
All right. Yeah. See, perfect. It looks great. All right. So before we do this, I'd just like to raise a toast because last November, a friend from our gaming group in the college days and the post-college days.
Late 80s, early 90s. For those of you keeping
Right. Eric Nyquist passed away, so we'd like to raise a toast to him and all of our fallen friends. All right, thank you. And I would like to hand the mic over to you and hear about the con.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming to Orccon 2018. It's been great so far. In broken record fashion, every time I get up here, it seems like, hey, we've set a new record. And it's true again. We are now, as of now, over 2,200 attendees.
Wow.
We will blow past our old record, which is only 2,330. So we'll easily get a couple hundred in the next day or so. So we will blow past 2,400. We're hoping to hit 25. It will be close. It would have been closer if there hadn't been the flu bug going around, but hey. So yeah, again, largest show we've run. We're hoping easily going to hit 2,400, maybe hit 25. We'll see. So thank you all very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aldrich.
As always,
I appreciate it.
So if you're sitting at
You can leave
home
that if you want.
watching this right now, get
Drive
in your
to LAX.
car, drive somewhere, get on an airplane. You can be here in time to register and make 2,500.
That's right. That's right.
Goes through
Look up.
Monday.
Because if you show up because I just said that, you come find me and I'll give you a hug.
That is very valuable. A Kadave hug is worth 5 hugs of a normal human.
It is. It is. And he gives good hugs. They're good. It's like
And
real
if you-
warm.
If you don't, I will give you a headbutt. It's worth 5 headbutts of a normal person.
All right, Mr. Jim Sandoval, are you still head of the RPG section?
Still am.
I haven't seen you once. This is the first time I've seen you, I think, so far.
Actually saw you, but you did not see me.
Ooh, he made his stealth roll.
Well, you were having breakfast.
That's what happens in Vodache.
But in any case, hello everybody. Is everybody having a good time? I am very, very glad to hear it. The program is running fantastically. The only issues that I had is that I had a whole bunch of last-minute cancellations of games that people already had pre-regis for, which is a real bummer. But there are a lot of people just falling sick right now, and it's just sort of the way it is. And speaking of, my mother ended up being hospitalized on Thursday, so I usually like to follow up with emails to people that pre-regged when games cancel, but I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to do so. So my apologies out to the role-playing community since I failed in communication. But, you know, we have 110 individual events despite cancellations with 50 different game systems represented. So once again, we run the vast gamut of role-playing experiences that we can make available to you guys. So very proud of that, and once again, very proud of our numbers and very proud of the success that we've had recently. And even though Tappy likes to give headbutts, I haven't seen him in several years. And he is one of the heterosexual loves of my life. I kissed him right in the mouth when I saw him. No headbutt. Possibly some homo.
I really want to see the YouTube series of Tappy driving around the country headbutting people that didn't show up. Like I'm in. Like
No,
right.
the crazy thing about it, it's one of Tappy's RPG moves. I usually call it the "give us a kiss" then, because that's usually what he says right before he headbutts somebody. But all right, well, I'm really, really glad that you guys are having a great time. Do anybody have any questions or any comments about what's going on? Anything they want to inform me of? Anyone? Nope. That means that I'm doing my job great, and I can keep on being hired, which is great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Come up.
I do want to say real quick that Jim is one of the best GMs and people on the planet.
Yes. I've never played in a game with him. So
Oh my!
so
You
that
really
part, but
should.
He is a very good person.
I've never played in the game he's
Daryl,
run. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Daryl here is representing the role-playing game league, and I'm going to hand the mic over to him. He's going to talk about his organization.
Yes, I'm Daryl Landers, co-owner of the Role Playing Games League. We are based out of Fallbrook, California. We are actually doing tournaments in the greater LA area. We've also done them in the Ventura area at Camarillo, Xander's Game House, and we're now starting to do them down in the San Diego area. It is a cooperative ranking system where we coalesce the playing party together to actually attack the plot. There is no competition actually in it. It actually builds the actual cooperativeness of the actual game. So we're very excited. We've done several tournaments in LA, and like I said, we're now headed down to San Diego, and we're just knocking this thing out of the park. We were also present at LostCon 44.
That's awesome.
We now have an Indiegogo where we have a T-shirt line. This is this is the hat, and here's also the T-shirt. Party or die. Party or die. All right. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That sounds fucking rad. Yeah.
Excellent.
Who came up with that idea?
That's actually my ranking system.
Yeah?
the creator, yes.
Nice. That was.
I don't know if that got onto the actual microphone, but he said that was his ranking
Yes.
idea and his thing.
And that's RPG League. They do a search on Indiegogo. They can find it by going to RPG League.
Yes.
Okay.
RPG League.
RPG League, all one word. There you go. All right. Awesome. Now, I've heard there were some games that happened this weekend. Some.
A couple.
Should we review the games that happened? Anyone have any games on Friday that they would like to talk about? If you either ran a game or played in a game. 2 o'clock. Start with a 2. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Kurt. Go ahead, Kurt.
So I ran Wild Talents. First time in a long time I came to a con and I didn't run Vampire. I ran Wild Talents game.
Wait, did you run Wild Talents Vampire?
No, I did not. No, I did not. I ran a game called Expedition to Terror Planet. And I actually ran this game both at 2 o'clock on Friday and 2 o'clock on Saturday. They were vastly different games. I mean, I came here with character sheets because the character sheets aren't holding me back.
Are you sure?
I came with character sheets, a premise, and winged trousers to fly by the seat of my pants. But and the players really made both of the games just freaking phenomenal. So because they really made the games awesome, I'll let any of them who are here talk about them.
Well, I had a blast on Friday. I got to play the robot who was built for war but ready for love.
Go on. This is relevant to my interests. I would like to subscribe to your newsletter.
We had a great time. It turned out spoilers are okay now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we signed up for this game, and I was hoping. I read the description for the game. I was like, please be this, please be this, please be this. And it turns out, so it's this terror planet, and we have to go investigate the species that's developed, the ability to travel to the stars, and we, the Galactic Society, need to make sure that they don't represent a threat to the galaxy. And I was like, please be Earth, and it was great. And they do represent a threat to the galaxy. Was anyone else in that game with us here?
Yes, but it looks like they don't want to get
They
up
don't want to
No,
chit-chat.
yeah, exactly.
That's all right.
But we do have someone, there
Well-
was someone here from the Saturday game, but
Let's do that too.
it's the same game, just vastly different.
Yeah, well, let's have them come up right now so they can compare and contrast.
Yeah, there you go. So one of the first things that happened that was pretty much the last point that was similar between the two is as the ship comes out of hyperspace and they see, oh, it's blue marble. Okay, now you can turn your character sheets over and see that, oh, you're all not humans. I said, okay, well, as you're talking about what you should do, you notice that there's a maybe 5-meter craft coming towards you, unpowered. Seems to be red, and there seems to be a pilot who doesn't. He's probably dead because most of the cabin is exposed to space.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I know what that is.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, we avoid it. Yep, yeah, okay, so the Tesla flies by the front windscreen as you're. And that was pretty much the point at which the two games diverged.
Yeah, come on up.
So I was in the Saturday 2 o'clock showing. This is Murtaugh from the forums. I got to play the,
First contact specialist.
First contact specialist.
Named Steve.
Steve. From Alpha Centauri, of course. Steve. A very feminine Steve. And so we had some problems with figuring out where we were going to go with this. Is like, do we hide? Do we go approach? We finally decided, hey, you know what? They seem to be somewhat civilized. They have a first contact platform for us to come and visit. Which
In
is
orbit.
Yes, in orbit, which is actually the ISS space station. Cultural differences aside, we took a little bit of time just trying to figure out where we were going to go with this, but I had a blast. I'm trying to remember. The gentleman who was playing the robot was coming up with great liners, and I can't remember anything off the top of my head at the moment.
Usually his most frequent comment was, Murphy has a bad feeling about this.
And that usually was very true. I think we got nuked by Kim Jong-un.
No, he missed.
Oh,
The
no.
ISS was destroyed, but he missed you.
Yes. I escaped.
Hit the ISS?
Yes.
Holy balls. Yeah. I would not have seen that coming.
Yeah. We almost didn't either. So. And let's see, what else was there?
So you made first contact basically with the ISS. Jason, where did you guys make first contact?
Just outside Palmdale.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
We found Jeff.
No, Steve.
Oh, Steve. Yeah, we found
We found a human named
Steve
Steve. Yeah.
camping by himself and that seemed like a good place to start, with a robot and 3 aliens to come in and say hi.
God, did you probe him? Tell me you probed him.
100% correct, sir.
I love you so much.
Our biologist also decided to, hey, can we have permission to do some non-invasive scanning?
Define non-invasive.
Well, the probe is only this big. For all of those who are listening on the podcast,
only about a foot
I'm
long.
holding my fingers about a foot apart. Yep.
Approximately a 12-inch intrusion.
It doesn't go all the way in, but still. And I think we ended our session with getting an apology from Kim Jong-un.
What? You got a what?
For attempt. Well, we landed in France to meet with the president of France.
Yes.
And in the process of getting approached by all the ambassadors and representatives and making the demanding an apology from the North Koreans for their attempt at nuking us, I was amused and I thought it went well.
So your first contact with a government leader was Emmanuel Macron. Jason, who was your first world leader that you met with?
Steve.
No. Who recommended who ran the world?
Well, he indicated that the Pentaveret of the lizard folk organizations were organizing things in that would be the Queen, the Pope, the President of the United States.
The Queen, the Pope, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders.
The Rothschild. Yeah, and
Before he went tits up.
yeah.
Well, you got to have the military involved.
Oh man, I have stories about crazy people like conspiracy theories in the middle of the desert, but I'm gonna leave that for another time.
Yeah, we got to dive deep with that. That was a lot of fun.
But when you actually did meet a governmental leader, who was the first one that you actually met with?
I believe we had a very cordial meeting with Donald J. Trump.
Right. Yep. At Mar-a-Lago, I think on the 7th fairway.
I believe that's correct. We landed our spaceship there, and
Tell me somebody had a golf skill.
I think someone has driving.
Oh.
bravo, sir.
Okay. Were I running that game, I would allow that.
I would have too. I was running that game. I totally would have allowed that.
Anyways, I had a great time. Fantastic group of people who were playing and a fantastic GM. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. And one of the other players is asking, what did you do with Trump?
Well, we had a very cordial interview with him on our spaceship alone, and we installed some behavioral modification hardware to be able to modify his future decisions.
Or remote control, basically.
Yeah.
So,
there is now.
Entirely due to the players I had, I can unequivocally say this is the best time I've had running a game at any con. Entirely due to the players, but it was the most unmitigated success, absolutely, and the players are entirely the reason for it. So thank you very much.
Excellent.
I know my group absolutely had a blast. It is the best time I've ever had abducting a U.S. president, and it was an extremely fun time.
Excellent. Any more Friday night games anyone wants to talk about?
There's a Friday afternoon game also.
I'm super excited to hear about this one.
Introduce yourself.
Hello. This is Tomes. Thank you.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Just 1 second before you talk about your game that I think is going to be awesome. Super props to Tomes for taking the ball of Games on Demand and running with it. Because It's just
You're
an
making
awesome
me blush.
program, and it's been super fun. And I actually didn't use it this time, but
I did.
it was super comforting to know it was there.
I got 2 of my players for this afternoon's game from Games on Demand.
Ooh, I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute.
Games on Demand isn't the hero we deserve, but it's the hero we need.
I played in a this is the first time in 4 years I played in a 2 o'clock game. I didn't run a 2 o'clock game. I usually like to start with it, but Chris Gray, he was running Bedlam Hall by David Kazay, that game. We show up, there's a table, and you see a bowler hat, there's a chauffeur's hat. I mean, it was like a David Kazay game, right? And of course, I sat in front of the spot with the maid apron. So I got to wear that for the next 4 hours. That alone was worth the price of admission. But Bedlam Hall, I'd heard a little bit about kind of what it was, but it was fabulous. And I didn't think that anyone could run a game like Dave Kazay. That man is full of energy and characterizations. Manic, yes, that's a good word. And Chris ran with it. Like, he did a beautiful job. We had a drunk butler. We had, any of the characters, the PCs who didn't show up, the characterizations for them were great. So whoever didn't show up, sorry, but thanks for not showing up.
The technical term for that is a drunkler.
A drunkler, thank you. But yeah, we had a blast. There was a little bit of cannibalism, but
I believe the term is long pork.
Long pork, sorry. And again, that's because the cook didn't show up. So, anyways, a blast.
So how did you cook the long pig without...
We had the chauffeur had a blowtorch.
That's a fantastic chauffeur.
Yeah. The chauffeur was amazing. But yeah, all the players in that game were a blast. So great game. And then what was it? 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock. I did 10 candles. I had a great time running it, but I'll leave that to somebody else to talk about. But again, beautiful game. If you haven't seen 10 candles, I highly recommend you pick that up. It kind of runs itself. It is gorgeous.
Is that anything like 16 candles?
That's damn, get out of my mind!
Very similar in that it is nothing like it. Yes.
So you're saying it's the same, but different.
It's not the same, no. All right, I'll hand it off.
Thank you very much. Any more games we're missing on Friday we need to talk about?
There's another...
Oh, yeah, come on up.
It is X minus 6 candles.
One at a time. 'Cause there's not enough. Well, actually, here, I'll just get out of the way. You want to be off camera? Yeah. Okay, all right. Come here. Gotta get close. Gotta get close, baby. Here you go.
She's in the wings.
Tell us who you are and what it is that makes you famous.
Christopher Gray. I make a really, really mean... Actually, I can't make anything. Scratch that. I'm a terrible cook.
That's amazing.
I was thinking about saying something.
Hey, it's legal here now.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
You're right. Yeah, I'm the one that ran the cannibal game. So anyway, no, 10 candles.
We've
okay.
already gone off the rails, guys. You realize this.
We're just getting started. I'm Chris Gray. I'm Mystic Fedora on the forums, although I need to be more active there. Kurt was in the game with us. 10 candles. Okay, this is a game I played twice. I ran it once and played under Tomer. It is. I don't know how to begin with this game. It's insane. It's intense.
This
By
is
the time
relevant
we
to
were
my
done,
interests.
we had been through trauma together. We're blood brothers now, right? I mean,
Yeah. We're
So
we're
it's
never
like
gonna forget this experience.
You know
Yeah,
about camping?
no.
It's intense.
No. Hold on. It's like an orgy in the circus.
There we go.
It's fucking intense.
Fucking intense.
He's just one over you all day, man.
For the record, I've taken the
You gotta
mic
work
away
harder
from
to-
Kadave.
I'll still talk.
So the way 10 candles works, without going too much into the minutia, we have 10 candles, and whenever you fail, a candle goes out until you're dead. Not if you're dead. The whole scenario is you're going to die. How does this play out? And when you're in there in the dark room. Thank you, Jem. By the way. Yeah, we had a room to ourselves. It was. It was, and you go through this scenario. In our case, we were on a moon base.
I'm not on camera, so you're looking at no one.
I'm looking at.
Like it's right there. It's right over there. Yeah. Ooh. I mean, I could
I have-
look over Stu, and then you could look that way.
I have a
Riser.
question. Ooh, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you telling me there's literally a dark room and you literally have 10 lit candles
No.
and one by one they're sniffing out?
They're figuratively lit. They're LED candles.
Can you literally light them?
No.
Tell me you
not in a
did.
hotel.
No. Tell me you did.
Lie to him.
We did.
Okay. That's amazing.
I don't even know how to describe this game without ruining the scenario, but it was the most intense RPG session I've ever been in. I had a little to drink, but I think I honestly think that this was the best RPG experience that I have ever had.
Right. And it's because of Tomer, his new name. and also the system. But the scenario was this, and I'll try to make this quick. But 10 days ago, the world went dark. No sun, no stars, nothing. 5 days ago, they came. Now, you're on your own. What do? We're on a moon base. That means the Earth isn't there. There's no stars in the sky. We don't have anything but life support that's sort of falling down. So now, what happens next? That's the story, from candle to candle to candle, until it's all snuffed out. It's an upper.
Holy fuck, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, right. It's great. It's great. And the other time I played, it was with my wife and my son. They don't really play games much like I do. Right up there. So I think there's something to do with this system. You've got to try it, and you do it raw at least once.
How do I get the system? Where's it sold?
10 candles.
I'm buying it tomorrow.
10 candles. Just Google. It's out there.
I'm buying it whenever the fuck we stop.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And can I sing the praises of Tomes for just 1 second? Because I honestly think that there's no way I could have run this game the way he ran it. He spent about 40 minutes of our playtime putting us at ease. Just slowly adjusting, letting us chat with each other, facilitating a conversation so we became comfortable, slowly dimmed the lights, didn't just go full dark, there was never a point where it was like, all right, guys, settle down, let's get to work. He just, whenever you're ready, we're gonna, whatever you want. You guys ready? We'll talk about it. And he would slowly, very calmly, as if he was talking to an autistic child. Yes, it was so beautiful. Like I felt so taken care of. I felt so comforted. There was, I was. Yes,
I need to repeat
Tomes
that.
has the best bedside manner.
Can I repeat that real quick? Jim's
microphone.
Jim Sandoval said he's like a talented midwife.
He's the only one I would have wanted to carry me through this experience.
beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, what's...
So,
Just breathe. Just breathe.
I kind of consider Tomes to be the dude that is like the British explorer of RPG experiences. Like, the rest of us, we kind of sit at home and we drink our tea and we play our games that we know. And then he is just off in the wilds.
Mr. Livingston, I presume.
Finding shit and coming home. And then he shows it to the rest of us and we're like, what? Where did you find? And he tells you a story like, it was beneath a bush at the top of Kilimanjaro. And you're like, how did you find this game? And what the hell, man? Like, yeah. Like, there's an explorer society, and there's a big portrait of him on the wall there. And everybody else sits around and smokes cigars and drinks scotch and talks about the good old days.
Tomes,
This game belongs in a museum.
Tomes, please, next con when you run a game, I don't care what game it is, wear a PIF helmet.
And also invite me.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
So I know we have at least one more Friday game because it was in the same room I was running a game. God damn it, Kurt. God, not me. Kurt.
Different Kurt. It's
So
fine.
there was another game that was run on Friday, and I know because it was in the same room I was running it on Friday, and the GM's sitting right there, and I think it might have been.
I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll handle it for you.
I think it might have been her first time running a game at a con.
It was.
Really?
It was the first game of someone who shall remain nameless, but some. Well, I was trying to preserve anonymity.
He doesn't remember your name.
She doesn't work for the CIA, all right?
Who are you people?
No, I can read it.
What am I doing here?
There's at least 3 of that one badge. But if I close one eye and squint real hard, I can see the name Katie.
So, Katie, Kurt's wife, and has been attending cons here for years now, decided that this was the time she was ready to run her first game at the con.
Let me ask a question. Have you GM'd before, like outside of cons? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She so you could hear, she does GM outside of the con regularly, but the game she decided to run for the con here that I got to play in was Who Framed Jessica Rabbit. And it was the sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And we were all players that had gotten jobs with the Valiant and Valiant Detective Agency. And the completely unexpected thing, she had made several cartoon characters and several live human characters. And Kurt and I both played humans, and there were 2 cartoons in the game. And one of the cartoons was Timothy the Mouse from Dumbo. Right? Super pleasant little mouse, played by a guy that took him down a path of being a psychopath. And it was the best. Like, I multiple times had to stop and breathe just to remain conscious because I was laughing so hard. Because literally this mouse is just roughing people up for no reason. Like, just... yeah.
Oh, bite your corneas?
Wait.
One of his first threats was, hey, like, we trying to get into the famous Ink and Paint Club, and the giant gorilla bouncer opens the slider and asks for the password. None of us know it. The first time we try from the movie Swordfish, didn't work. Second time we knock, he opens it, asks for the password, and this mouse guy tells me, throw me in there! Throw me in there! So I propel him through the tiny slot where he proceeds to try and chew off the corneas of the gorilla. And the gorilla is just freaking out like, oh, why? Why are you doing this? And it got worse from there.
So to be fair, that's legit.
Yeah. Well, the best part for me is as soon as I get home from the con, I'm going to watch Dumbo again and imagine that mouse as a fucking psycho. Well, and then then at one point he goes to interview, because none of the rest of us spoke cartoon penguin, and they were the orchestra. He goes to interview the penguins, and he's talking to them, and I don't remember how it came up, but the only thing that came into my mind was he was threatening the penguins to tell him the truth, and I said, he ain't never seen a penguin fly either. And he lost it. We all lost. It was so good. And I was shocked at the way this guy just picked a direction and went for it. It was awesome. And the game was super fun. And it's super hard to do an investigation game at a convention. Because if you don't have a game planned out with combats and people doing stuff, getting people to look for clues is the hardest thing in the universe. And I had a great time, and I was super impressed with the whole thing.
So I just wanted to say I was really impressed with Katie. I did not play in the playtest, so I could play here because I wanted to experience it at the con with everybody else here. And I was also just flabbergasted by Mr. Mouse. The thing that got me was his ramp-up time was 0 to 1,000,000 because he would walk up to a homeless, or like a hobo, and say, look, we know you saw something. I'm going to give you some money if you tell us. And by the time he had decided whether or not to tell us, I'm going to murder you if you don't tell it. Like, he was just 0 to 100. It was so fast. And it was like graphic. Like, he was really, he at one point he had a piano wire and he was like pulling, he had his feet in the back of a guy's neck pulling the piano wire, but he's a mouse, so he doesn't do any damage. So he's just like, fuck, choke. Like, and I'm like, you're a mouse. And I'm the character who is like got a problem with tunes. Like, a tune dropped a piano on my leg, and I'm limping around the whole time. And so every time I'm like, these tunes are gonna kill me. Get me out of here. It was fun. It was a really good time, and like, big props to Katie for taking the risk to run in front of everybody.
So
I actually
if real quickly, I can commend you. If you're going to run an investigative game on Friday when people are usually burnt out to hell from working all week, 2 o'clock on Friday is much smarter than 8 o'clock on Friday. So, good choice there.
So I just want to say something real quick about when you are dealing with weirdo players. Weirdo players are amazing. I love them. But as a GM, you have to be able to roll with them. And especially at a con where people don't have anything invested, right? So you can give somebody a mouse, and they're like, I'm the craziest goddamn mouse you've ever fucking seen. And then be able to turn that into your game is really impressive. And so being a GM and having a stranger decide to, like, fuck with everything ever and turn that into a fun experience for everybody else, tons of props for that. Well done. And anybody who decides to run a game at a con, be prepared for that. And if somebody fucks with your shit, fuck with their shit right back.
So I wanted to actually do a callback to the last time I was here at the con in September. Dave Kazay laid down a challenge for everybody to write something and bring it next time. And so I took that shit to heart and started writing a little dice game that I got to facilitate for several of the people on the cast here. And then I finished that and accidentally started writing a setting, and that's what I ran Saturday, so I'll talk about it later. But I'd love to hear what you guys thought of House Rule, a game of throne acquisition.
Yeah, so that was before the 2 o'clock game on Friday, and it was essentially, it was a dice game that you start. It's all D6s, and you have mechanics where you can lend dice to other people, you can steal dice from other people, and everybody's essentially trying to become the ruler of the kingdom for at least a night, a season, really. But and there's definitely a certain George R.R. Martin feel to the game, but
a thematically similar yet legally distinct theme.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, exactly that. But no, it was a hell of a lot of fun. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna back this guy because I don't think he can win, but if he does, then I get a point. He'll get 3 points, but I'll get a point anyway because I'm backing him. And then the next time, oh no, I'm going to back this guy instead. Well, this time I'm going to go for it and get all of you guys to back me. And at the end, I was backing everybody. I was getting like 1 point each time, 1 point each time. And then the last time is like, okay, this is the end of the end of things. It's all of you against the White Walkers. And
walkers?
I'm sorry, the walkers.
Walkers
right,
of white.
Exactly.
Walkers
well, they
of
were in the
white,
snow, so they were they're covered in white.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Wait, are you saying the John Walkers?
Yes, the Johnny
Yes.
Walkers, exactly.
The Johnny Walkers.
the Texas Rangers.
Yes. Yes. Right, exactly.
We were to do battle with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, exactly right. And
Wait,
we,
hold on. You totally mixed your metaphors here. I have no idea what's going on.
it's baseball. Shut up.
What?
So we get to the end of it, and we fortunately had managed to devote enough defenses to the kingdom as a whole to defeat the undead enemy, and so then it's whoever managed to support the kingdom defenses the most gets the grand prize amount of points at the end. And so I was sitting on like 4 points, and other people had 5, 6 points, and holy shit, I got 6 points at the end. Holy shit, I won!
Well, point of order. If I understood the game correctly, my scoring of precisely 1 point secured the win.
It's like golf
for me.
It's like golf.
Yeah, golf scoring.
Right. Yes, of course.
We want to,
or like how I bowl.
Yeah, we want to let Kurt believe that he won, but in fact, my single point was the pinnacle.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So to say, I really want to say thank you to Dave for the challenge because it gave me the impetus to get up and fucking write something. And
look for it in better game shops soon, I assume.
Maybe. And I want to issue a similar challenge to anyone listening or here. Fucking write something and bring it. It doesn't matter if it's a play test. It doesn't matter if it's completely done. Get it in front of people and learn from your mistakes.
This was absolutely like a 1 hour
Let's
beer
make
and
this a
pretzels
thing.
kind of thing.
I will put up a challenge. I will have anybody who brings an original game to con, next con in May, and runs it here. I will have a vote between all the players that play those games, and I will give them $50 in dealer dollars for the winner. So a legitimate challenge, $50 up. So anybody that brings an original game, come over. Will please email me, sign it up in the system, and I will put you in the running.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Way to go, Jim, for putting his money where other people's mouth is.
Oh, wait. Or is it putting other people's mouths where? Oh, never mind.
No. Hold on. That's what I do. I'm liking where this is going. That's my gig.
First of all, yes, that game was so good. That was just a play test on noon at Friday. We just played with it, and I mean, it was just fabulous as a standalone board game. You could role play the shit out of it.
With no
I think
board.
it was just one of those great things where you could get a wide variety of people and play the game. I mean, I was super impressed with that game. So props. But to that point, tomorrow, so I'll talk really quick about Games on Demand, if that's cool. Okay, so Saturday started that shindig. I'll kind of like loop it around here. So this morning we had Games on Demand, a couple of folks. God, what ran? Remind me if I forget something, but we did Autumn of the Ancients. That's like a Fall of Magic hack where you're playing in space. What else was running? Throw it out if you remember. I can't. Yeah. What was that? Oh, Golden Sky Stories was there. But this is another thing, and for the GMs up there who've got scheduled games, if you're ever short on players, remember about 10 minutes after the hour, after the start time of that schedule, we will start pitching games. So if you're short on players, and this has happened 3 times this con, we were able to source a couple of people from Games on Demand to go up into scheduled games that didn't have enough players. So
saved my bacon.
Yeah, that was my game this afternoon.
I'm all for people poaching players at Games on Demand. So you just come down, you pitch it. If you get people, you get people. Awesome. It's a game on demand. Afternoon.
Hence the name.
Monster of the Week. Bob Quintero ran that I played in. That was the first time playing Monster of the Week. It was brilliant. And we had a couple of other games going on. What's this? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to go rambling about this stuff. But I will say that tomorrow, we have a late night session, 10 o'clock tonight, where, so we do a late night Saturday after the podcast, where, we'll do the horror games and that kind of stuff. No, this is my favorite part of Games on Demand is I get to schedule it, and so I get to see the podcast and then still play my Saturday night game. So that's one thing. But to Jim's point about bringing your own games, so Sunday morning, we're starting Half-Baked Breakfast, and that is Games on Demand at kind of like 9 o'clock. Game designers bringing their own games that they want to play test, And so we have people like Stephanie Bryant is out from Vegas. She's the one who did Threadbare, and a couple of other folks, Chris Gray and some others, bringing their own games and pitching that, and just having like designer, game designer kind of like chats, and then pitching and playing playtests.
Is that a walk-up thing?
That's a walk-up
I
thing.
could-
It's games on demand. Just
Are you
show up and
literally
do it.
serving anything for breakfast?
No.
You should just at least get some waffles. The more people show up, you have punch and pie. But
Punch and pie.
the thing about it is, one of the great things about this convention is we have so many game designers and people involved in the industry that are here to get feedback from this community. So it's really yet another great draw. And another great opportunity for not only us as convention goers, but as convention organizers, to have these people come over here and show off their new stuff, play test it, and not only that, but have a very knowledgeable group of players that can give very good feedback.
Yeah.
So this place is actually valuable on both ends, to the designer and to the player.
And it sounds like Jim is volunteering to bring waffles next time. That's what I heard. I didn't hear the rest of it, but that's what I heard.
Jim, bravo.
And also,
one last thing is 2 o'clock on Sunday, we do the Games on Demand Kids Edition, and that's where, little kids, teenagers, whatever show up. Last time we had about a dozen show up on Sunday. We had 3 tables of 8 to 10-year-olds playing RPGs, and we had a table of teenagers running their own game. So they were running like the Quiet Year on their own. It was amazing. So we've got that going on again on Sunday. So just FYI.
nice.
Super important to encourage the next generation of gamers, so that when we are all old and tired, there's somebody to run games for us.
That
It
sounds.
helps in mental acuity. It really does. So yeah.
That sounds amazing.
All right, I have something to say about that, because I ran a game this morning at 9 a.m.
Oh wait. Okay. So how many teenagers did you have? Because those are the only
No,
people who are up at 9
there's-
a.m.
there's-
except for you.
There's one more Friday game.
Okay, go ahead.
Some of you out there in Videoland may have noticed that I'm wearing a strange hat.
What?
Oh, there was another Friday game.
You're right. There's 2 Friday games to talk about. But
There
I'm
went my
talk-
segue.
You have a
Yeah.
Segway?
I do now.
Those are very dangerous.
Yes, and. So, Dave Kazay, who many of you know, has run games on our stream and been on the podcast. He had a special new to everybody game that we played on Friday night. Can I talk about it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what this game is.
So,
Neither do I.
I just wanted to double check. He's in the audience. I wanted to double check it was cool to release some details because I didn't want to be that guy. But the game was called Space 1989. And many of us arrived to this game and we were given our character sheets and they came on VHS covers. And many of us were also sort of cast into roles for this game, which allowed some of us to come up with costuming and ideas for the characters before we even arrived. So I was given the commandment that it started with, I was sent a picture of Sam Rockwell in the Hitchhiker's Guide movie as Zaphod Beeblebrox. And he told me, this is the guy you have to play in my test game. And I said, okay. And then he said, but you need to be more desperate and more pathetic. And I went, that's my life. I'm ready. So then he said, you have sold all of your possessions to purchase one tiny piece of the visible light spectrum so that you could become the king of everything yellow. And so I went to my trusty costumer, Amazon, and I ordered up an outfit for myself that consisted of everything yellow. A bright yellow polo shirt, a pair of bright yellow pants that are halfway between cargo pants and halfway between...
Capris.
There were cargo capris, yeah.
Yeah, they were like a cargo capri pant. You're right. Well, I can't argue, but they worked. I had a pair of giant long yellow socks and a pair of shoes in bright yellow that were made out of vinyl, which seems funny.
And the hat.
Well, yeah,
Did
I
you
mentioned the hat.
Did you have a yellow jockstrap?
The world may never know. However,
That's a yes.
our game started. I was playing the King of Everything Yellow. We had other players there. Did you want to talk about anything? Okay.
I have to say, congratulations for finding so many items in almost exactly the same shade and hue of canary yellow. Like, they all matched. You got your yellows to match. That was impressive, sir.
I did. Again, thank you, Amazon, for providing I'm shopping for things of click this color. And they all arrived, and I took them out of the box, and I went, holy shit.
It wasn't goldenrod
This-
and
This is all together. Like I had a plan or something. But we sat down to play the game, and we had a mechanic where we got to equip our ship with various facilities and technology that would help us in a space adventure. What was the name of your ship? Our ship was the Heart of Glass. Because, yeah. Yeah, you can all imagine.
That's a Blondie reference, by
Yes.
the way, for those of you who are not born
Which
in the 1960s.
she obviously is paying me royalties because blonde is definitely a yellow shade.
crap, I have to pay you royalties now?
That's right.
Ah.
I own it. I have a deed of sale from Orgo the Terrible, president of the Color Spectrum Consortium. But
Chris,
I
you and I are
absolutely
going
do.
broke.
It is in my room upstairs. I will post a picture of it on the internets later. But our ship, when we were allowed to choose from a giant list of options, we could choose things like phasers, and tractor beams, photon torpedoes, booster rockets, long-range warp drives, things that are useful for space travel and combat. However, we decided that we would equip our ship with a galley.
That's important. That's important.
Absolutely. A bar.
Also important.
Because it's us, let's face it. And a chapel. No, I'm getting there. And then the last thing that we added to the ship was pictures of, this is a direct quote, bitchin' laser unicorns.
Oh my
on
god,
the outside
Laser
of the
Unicorns
ship.
is one of the best goddamn games ever.
And we then proceeded to not really use our ship for anything other than a place to stand around a while. But we had...
Not actually true. We used the crap out of that galley.
You're right. The galley provided us with coffee that really was the motivating plot of the game.
I found the chapel quite useful.
Yes. So
I don't pilfering of believe robot you. Eyes, yes.
Let me take a second to go through our characters that were in the game. I was playing the King of Everything Yellow. Chris was playing. She arrived to the game dressed in a full nun's habit with a pack of smokes.
Like you do.
And she was playing Sister Christian. Jim, to my right, was playing Skyboy Joe.
Skyboy Joe, yeah.
The pilot of our ship, whose accent was so infectious that I couldn't stop myself from using it.
Well, the picture was an Asian cowboy.
Yes.
So, you know, I went with a drawl.
Davey joined us as...
Arthur Dent, yeah.
Well,
Buddy. Dressed in a bathrobe.
The kidnappee from Earth that was in a bathrobe and slippers and had a cup for coffee.
And all he wanted to do is go back to Temecula.
Toluca Lake. It was in fact. Yes.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Oh, now it's a war.
Toluca Lake.
That's right.
I stand corrected.
The spirit of Bob Hope is rolling in his grave.
But hold on. Marcellus Wallace got no friendly places in Toluca Lake.
And the last player in our game.
So that was the picture on my character sheet was Quentin Tarantino with his coffee cup and his bathrobe.
Right, in Toluca Lake. That makes
Oh, yeah,
perfect
and
sense.
Dave did email us pictures of our characters before we actually
the
went
game.
in. And everybody was in costume except for me, and he went and actually bought me a cowboy hat, which I wore the entire game.
So then,
Yeah, I wore it the whole day. Yeah.
so then the last player at the table
feel
was a guy
manly.
that ended up playing Bear, the gun hand, who I felt a little bit bad for because he just signed up for the game, and I feel like he was the guy that was waiting in line for Peter Pan's ride at Disneyland, and then discovered that it was actually the Matterhorn after he got on. Like, he got to the game, and he's like, okay, cool, we're going to have an RPG. And then the bar came down across his lap, and he just screamed.
No, the solid expression of what the fuck are we doing was on his face pretty much the entire duration.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
everything unfolded to his surprise.
you people?
I know. And then, because Dave is a guy that will never leave people out, we had Murtaugh from the forums who sat in to watch the game, and Dave decided that he was going to play our AI bartender, who then he decided would be Marvin the paranoid android.
That's
Whom he voiced
amazing.
perfectly, because
Yeah.
I have
man.
a brain the size of Manhattan, and you're asking me to make you a Manhattan.
I really was impressed with every time we asked him anything, he would go,
Yes.
Without fail. Every single time, whatever he said to him.
He doesn't have lungs. Why does he sigh?
But actually, the topper of all the outfits, except for maybe the habit, was Kadave with that hat, an entire yellow outfit down to yellow sunglasses and yellow shoes, completely done up in yellow. Because
he dyed his beard yellow.
Yeah, and he dyed his beard yellow because the whole other thing is that he actually legitimately purchased rights to the color yellow and legitimately owned them. So a lot of our strategies in the game were to make something yellow so Dave could tell them to stop.
The Vogons couldn't get anywhere because their ships were yellow.
That was 100% my player strategy was...
How many times did you have the quick piss on him?
Well,
Oh my gosh, did you not think of that?
I paid Skyboy Joe to graffiti yellow penises over the space station.
with little fuzzy crowns on the head.
So that
I just walked around with a stencil and a cigarette going, okay. $1's a dollar, right?
$1 is $1.
And I didn't pee on anybody because the current environment does not allow you to whip your dick out anymore, which is just plain sad.
More's the pity.
But the part that really struck me as brilliant was Dave's choice in the story of having a Martian warship arrive. And the Martians arrived and were militant and well-armed, and we were just a bunch of weird slackers on a spaceship with nothing.
You just described my life.
Yeah. And then, you know, I took an immediate dislike because they're from the red planet. But he had already planned for this, and then he decided that they were all communists because they're from the red planet.
And it's the 80s, right?
What?
1989, right?
And it's 1989. Oh, yes. It was a fabulous time. I had a wonderful time, and yeah, I got nothing other than as a complete playtest game, you can't ask for more than that.
Are we done? Are we done with Friday games? Are we done with Friday games? Oh no! Go!
Oh God, we're not
Follow
done yet?
that goddamn
No, we're
story.
not even done with Friday.
Oh my God. Yeah, we got to do a demo of my game Demigods.
Right. You demoed Demigods?
Which
No, it's Demogods.
yeah. Which in no way can stand up next to the story of the king of all things yellow. But I had a great time running this game. I don't know if any of the people from Friday night are here, but we. Well, all right.
Keep it to yourself. Make it happen, motherfucker.
Keep talking, Jason.
Well, no, that's all right. We'll just move on to Saturday because I ran the game on Saturday as well, and there are a few people here. Suffice to say that the demigods discovered, well, at least in 2 of the sessions, the demigods discovered that Paul Rudd has in fact been up to shenanigans to stay looking so young.
Oh yes,
and,
yes he has.
And they dealt with him.
Oh yes, we did.
Now, let me ask you, how many people end up picking the gods of technology? Because I think that is one of the funniest concepts.
Oh, those are the best concepts about that entire thing is a fucking gods of technology.
You want to explain that briefly?
Yeah, please do.
Sure. Okay, so the spiel goes that so all of the gods in demigods are spawned from the power of human imagination, and there's a whole new pantheon of gods that have spawned up recently that are generated because of the number of people in the world who believe in the tenets of science. They believe the things that scientists espouse, such as things like global warming and the earth is round and things like that. But people who could not actually personally explain why those things are true, so they have invested their faith into these ideas, and they have thereby spawned an entire pantheon of gods who resent their own existence, believe they should, but cannot give evidence of their
And I'm wearing this full yellow outfit, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to take a walk and see what other games are still going on. And I walk around, and I poke my head into this room, and the people all around this table look over and go, hey, Dave, how's it going? Do you want to come in here and be a 16-year-old girl for a while?
And your answer is, fuck yeah, I do.
Exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
There is no other answer than, yes! I was on the way to the bathroom, but I'll figure it out.
we had a player who had to duck out for personal reasons, and within 8 minutes, I think, Dave scored. Oh, look, it filled that spot right in.
And it was a blast. And yeah, Friday night, I will always remember that. Like, hey, do you want to be a 16-year-old girl? That's the best. That's the best reason why you should play RPGs.
I believe it was, do you want to be a 16-year-old girl wizard demigod?
Fair enough.
Pretty much, yeah.
I may have been drinking and forgotten words.
No, that's all right.
And the answer is, I've waited my whole life
to have someone ask me
for
that.
someone to ask me that question.
Exactly. That was a hell of a lot of fun game. You have done yourself proud to have written that particular hack of Apocalypse. That's a technical term, not denigrated. But we had members of the Mexican or Mesoamerican pantheon. I was descended from Anubis. I was a lawyer descended from Anubis. We had Emery. We had a welder who was descended from the Mexican lightning god, I think.
Yeah, we had a DJ, the son of Hanuman, the Monkey King.
Yeah, whose DJ name was DJ Furious George.
Wait, it wasn't the Battle Chimp Potemkin.
No, it was not.
However,
the Battle Chimp Potemkin is still one of the greatest names of any leader of anything
I
ever.
don't know. The DJ Furious George was really good. He wore a giant monkey head while he was DJing. It was just his face, but like 2-3 times.
Hold on. I have to say again, the Battle Chimp Potemkin.
I have to
End
side
of
with Tappy.
story. That wins.
I have to side with Tappy.
It took me 10 minutes after I sat down at this game to realize that to my right was DJ Furious George, and I was wearing all yellow. and then I lost it all again.
The whole table. There was a realization, and the whole table just dissolved. We lost about 10, 15 minutes for the very best reasons.
Did you plan that? No, you didn't. Okay.
Kadave,
Dave had
Kadave,
nothing to do with that.
Kadave, hold on, Kadave. I love you.
Oh,
That
it
is
was
goddamn
so perfect.
amazing.
So perfect.
All right.
All right.
Can I talk about the shitstorm that was my 9
Yes,
a.m.
you
game
can.
on Saturday?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Your 9 a.m. game Saturday. I think it was.
I cannot wait to hear about a
Hey,
shitstorm.
real quick, Stu, is the stream still live? I just got a message about it.
Oh, it's the internet. There's nothing I
Oh.
can do. I'm not.
we're
well,
recording, so.
I'm not at my
those
house.
of you who are listening after the fact, good on you. You've caught all of this.
Unfortunately. Oh, it's going down even farther. It's almost gone.
Well, everybody's going up to their rooms after gaming all day
Four-
and watching Netflix. So
4 per second. Now
Yeah,
it's
Netflix.
0.
Yeah, Netflix.
Oh, no, it's back up.
Netflix.
Oh my!
Asphalt of magic.
Pretty much. So I actually have several players here. I see several players here. So I'd love to hear their game, and then I'll jump in if anybody wants me to talk about it more.
Don't everybody
All
get
right.
up at once.
I once had a character that was a correspondence mage, but
Like-
instead
like-
had a correspondence course in magic. It wasn't like magic of like moving things in different places, but had signed in to a magic course and sent in some mailers and then got back
A diploma that way?
diploma for magic.
That sounds
is bed knobs
perfect
and
for this
broomsticks.
world.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
Yeah.
Tappy can't say it. That's amazing.
Seriously? No one?
No one?
I wasn't in the
all
game. I
right,
can't talk
I'm
about
talking
it.
about
Going
it.
once?
Here I am. I'm talking.
Okay, go.
Here I am. I was in the game. Ha-ha. Because I can't escape the 80s. This whole con.
Dear God, from Dallas on.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, that's true. Last con, I ran Dallas the RPG.
That was your own fault.
No.
Well, no, that was Rob's fault. That was Taylor's fault.
I am goaded into discovering ancient things that suck from other people. So Dallas the RPG is way up there. I'll tell you what.
I love this guy so much.
But then this con, I played Space 1989. Then I played Nuclear Night School the next day, which I should have just kept wearing the yellow costume because it was light magic. That's kind of the origin of it. But we had a fun time because we were very not motivated people. All of the players were.
Were you slackers?
It's the yellow hair from the hat. It comes off
I
and it
know.
attaches to me randomly.
Like Velcro.
Yeah. Just
Or cat hair.
Yeah. But
You're just becoming part Muppet.
I've spent a great period of my life believing that I was a Muppet. So, here
Kadave, when are you and I going to co-GM a game?
it's on.
Because that would be fucking goddamn amazing.
I can't commit to May, but September.
September.
September?
Do
Do
it.
you want to do it
September.
September? You and me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
We'll
on.
figure it
Sign
out.
me up.
So,
Oh my god, that'll be so much
Dave's
fun.
gonna make all the character pre-gen sheets.
Yeah, I don't do fucking anything.
yeah.
It'll be
let the
me.
character sheet
It'll
hold
be
you
me at
back.
the very beginning, just going. Rip.
I'll show up with just a binder full of prep, and he's just gonna just pull down his pants and poop on it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna be like, why? Why did you do this?
And Kadave's gonna be like, how many drugs are you on? And I'm like, I don't know.
And then I'll say to myself, remember back in February, you said okay.
And remember how much you drank then.
Yeah. I won't. That's the point of drinking. But we ended up in a fight with slacker kids at Remedial Community College versus goths. And it was a fun time. I ended up picking the jock character, which some of you may laugh if you watch the video stream. but I ended up choosing the. Yeah, we play fantasy games for a reason.
It's a fair point.
I ended up choosing hindrances because Kurt came up with a great way to do Savage Worlds-based character gen for a con. Of here's your character, cool, but you get to pick between two different hindrances, two different edges, and then you get to pick an additional edge.
Oh my
right?
God, that's brilliant.
Am I?
Okay, so the idea is that the characters are divided between a class, which is basically race creation rules, adding some flavor onto one of some class elements.
Yeah.
And then your background, which is based on a clique. So you're either a preppy, you're a jock, you're a geek, you're a rebel, or an outcast. And each of those have specific edges and hindrances that are tied to them, because in this game, the idea is you're now in college, you're trying to climb out from under the stereotype that you've just experienced for 4 fucking years, and so you are stuck with these hindrances that you've just had ingrained in you. But the goal is over time, you could work your way out from under them. But so for instance, like the jock, you could either be lame or heroic, right? Like maybe you got an old football injury, or you're like gung-ho, gonna run in first guy in to get the puppies out of the fire, right?
So I decided that my injury was I picked lame. Because
Me too.
Play what you know. But I decided that it wasn't an old football injury. It was like a just happened this year football injury, and that my entire right leg was in a giant plaster 1980s cast.
So he's crutching his ass all around the game map.
Literally, I was the tank and the warrior of the group, and I was just going, okay.
Oh, hold on. That is so smart. Like, this whole concept is so smart, I'm annoyed by it. I'm annoyed that I did not come up with it first. And I kind of want to fight Kurt a little bit because I didn't come up with it.
Kurt, did you?
I'm not a good fighter.
You came up with these sort of backgrounds and almost not quite, but almost classes, and you add hindrances. Did you savage Apocalypse World?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because
okay, so
hashtag savage everything.
All right, so I love Savage Worlds. It's the
As
system.
well you should, because
the
it's
system I know the
amazing.
best, and sure, Hive Mind is gonna call me like a baby or whatever, and say that it's Duplo.
He's gonna call you a hippie,
Sure.
like he called me.
No, he's not gonna. Whatever. Savage World is great, but it has some serious issues with putting onus on the GM for things like when to give out bennies, which is a huge fucking mechanic in that game that you have to remember, and I'm not gonna do that. So what I did is I added a trigger to every fucking hindrance that says, you gain a Benny when you do this. I am not involved. Fucking get it yourself. And
okay, I'm
because
also
it's not my responsibility.
I'm again fucking annoyed I didn't come up with that first. Fuck you. Fuck your eyes.
The other thing I added was bonds and ties. And so this was just straight up ripped out of a fucking Apocalypse World. So you have a bond, which is an NPC that is sort of a cross between a connection and an obligation. They're going to fuck up your life, but you can also call on them if you need some shit. The other thing you have is ties, which are 4 questions, which are leading questions, like, when we hit that dog, who was with me and did we stop? That you have to ask of the party, and one of them has to respond. And so now you're completely tied in with the other characters, and there's like 4 questions on each sheet. So if someone says, "Oh no, I'm not touching any of this," like, because one of them is, when I got totally trashed on prom night, who took care of me? So if you don't want to touch any of those, then you just skip it, right? You pick 2 of these 4, and if you want, write your own, but it's a con, so we don't have time for that shit. So pick 2. And now you're tied into the rest of the group. How did that feel for everybody? Did that work?
I liked it, and just FYI, we didn't stop when we killed the dog. We didn't kill it, though. We just crippled the dog that was the vice principal in high school's dog.
Yeah, I got one of them wheelie things.
Yeah. Yeah, it became the paraplegic dog.
There's a lot of fucked up shit in role-playing games, but leaving a crippled dog to suffer on the side of the road, you guys are dark.
We're
that's
players
all
in
the
an RPG. Thank you very much.
You know, I'm okay. I'm not okay with that, but that as a thing.
Damn.
But
you crossed the
also,
Tappy line.
We've apparently found the very bottom of the barrel.
Because that's me.
There
but
is
also,
nothing
not
left.
letting people come up with shit and instead going, no, you're going to deal with something is a hard thing. But it is also something that makes people fucking deal with shit. And you know what? That's one of the things that I kind of like about the basic apocalypse world is where somebody says, someone is in love with you, tell them who it is. You are in love with me. And they're like, oh, I don't want to be in love with you. Too goddamn fucking bad. I'm a Skinner. Deal. And then you move on. And I think it's really interesting when people are forced into situations and then have to deal with that and role play that. And that's one of the things that I really like. So even in a not con situation, you were there when the dog thing happened. What the fuck happened? All right,
And let's to be deal with fair, you could pick to stop. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have
you
to be a
can
dick
pick that.
about it.
Yeah.
No.
But
You could have stopped.
when
like,
you're not.
it's-
You can
accidents
pick to
fucking
stop
happen.
if you're not Kadave and a terrible person, and that's me, Tappy, saying someone's a terrible person.
You lay a patch of rubber and you flip off the vice principal if they come out of their house to see what happened.
So again, Kadave and me are going to run a game. It's going to be awful. If you're a good person,
Don't
do
sign
not
up.
show
Don't
up
sign
for
up,
this
no.
game. If you're a bad
not.
person, bring whiskey. And it's going to go downhill from there.
But here's the thing that most impressed me about the game. The fact that he let us all come up with our own bond to an NPC. And through the course of that game, each and every one of those bonds became part of the story. On his feet, just out of the blue.
Woo!
We
That's-
were all
that's
involved.
awesome.
That's hard to
It is
incorporate
hard.
into 4 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Thank
well
you.
done.
And even if I left mine just by the wayside, because I forgot.
Jenny's still standing there
She's
in her
waiting.
idle animation,
It's
just
kind of like Westworld. She's just standing there in an apartment like, maybe they'll come back.
Oh, man, that's so creepy in a really great way.
that record's just still skipping, and she's just sitting there listening to "Crazy" on a loop, "Crazy for You" on a loop.
Crazy for
I have no
Well,
idea what
thank
song you
you
guys
guys.
are talking about.
Patsy Cline?
Yes.
Yeah, Patsy Cline.
Was that in the 80s?
No, way before the 80s.
Oh, well, I wasn't born then,
Early
so.
Some people
60s
listen to it
or the
in the
50s.
You're older than I am. I know it. Any other
Oh, yeah. It was totally 80s then.
any other 9 a.m. games? We're gonna start to go into rapid advance because it's already 9:30 and I want to cut by 10. So any more Sunday or Saturday?
Well,
Go.
I had two more sessions of Demigods today at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Boy, 9 a.m. is a real time to start a game.
Yes.
Wait,
much
hold
respect.
on. 9 p.m.?
A.m.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. It's a real time on the clock.
Hold on. I disbelieve.
Yeah.
It's the time before Jesus.
Yeah.
Hold on. I disbelieve.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a sand check for that.
Who are you? What do you do that makes you famous?
I'm Katie Potts.
I understood the first part, but I don't get the second part, but that's okay.
What makes me famous is that I am the pyrotechnician of the group.
Wait,
She
hold on.
likes
You're a
to blow stuff up.
pyrotechnician? That's awesome.
I'm also the mom of Kurt 3.0. That's the good role player. Yes.
Wait,
Um,
and you blow shit up?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I played in the 9 a.m. game, and Kurt 3.0 played in the 2 p.m. game. We, of course, discussed the game and both decided we loved it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I was saying before I played in the game that I had signed up for it not knowing who was running it, didn't even look at the name, just read the description, and was like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing. I want to play a demigod. That sounds like the best thing ever. And then went, oh cool, it's you. But that was like after the fact, so that was a great surprise.
I guess that's better than being played in spite of me.
Right.
Which is what I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool, it's you is different than, oh, God, it's you.
Hold on.
It's
That's what I
you.
get all the time.
Yeah.
I'll take option A, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great thing is our son, who he was supposed to be in Jib's game, was super disappointed, and actually ended up feeling really great about the fact that he ended up in your game as like a random alternate because he had a fantastic time. He could not stop
I'm glad.
talking about it.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
You made the 14-year-old very happy. But yeah, we played as demigods. I played as the daughter of the Morgan, the Reaper. The
the
chooser of
Reaper
the
playbook,
slain.
yeah.
And we fucked up Paul Rudd with some great.
I mean, he had it coming.
He had it coming.
He
Yeah,
only
he
had
had
himself
it
to blame.
coming. Yeah, absolutely. But I love the system. I loved everything that you created with your hack of Apocalypse World.
Well,
so it was really great.
Thank you. I
Yep.
appreciate that.
And both Kurt 3.0 and I had a great time.
Great. Thank you.
Excellent.
The just for fun, the 2 p.m. game today was instead the La Brea Tar Pits, a demigod of the Baron Samedi had gone insane and decided to raise a dinosaur out of the tar pits.
Awesome. Can I just talk about real quick how the La Brea Tar Pits is redundant?
Yes, it is.
It's the It's the Department of Redundancy Department.
Yes,
that's a fact.
What does Brea mean?
Tar.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
I did not know
The
La
that.
Brea
Tar
Pits
Pits is
means-
the tar pits.
Yeah.
La Brea means the tar
Yes.
pit. The
Well,
tar
the La Brea Tar Pits is the tar pits.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I
It
had
is
no idea.
absolutely the Department of Redundancy Department, informing you with information.
Excellent. Any more Saturday morning or afternoon games? Saturday morning, afternoon games? Okay, we'll go to afternoon. I'll do mine real quick. I ran Mongoose Traveler 2nd Edition. I experimented with having character gen in the beginning of the game. I won't do that again.
What?
I won't do that again.
That is.
It ate. I was hoping it would be between 30 and 45 minutes.
Oh, you poor dumb bastard.
How many players did you have?
6.
Ooh,
I had
there's
6.
your first mistake.
But several of the players showed up early and had started character generation early.
Oh.
So there were people who were well into character gen, and we didn't do the connections until after everyone went through max of 2 terms. Once everyone went through their 2 terms, then we did the connections, retroactively. But it was it's complicated.
Yeah.
I was the only person with significant experience with character gen in Mongoose Traveler, so I'm running around the table. I only had 2 copies of the book, although I had a lot of copies of the other stuff that they would need. But there was a lot of questions because nothing is really plainly obvious in that game. So there was a lot of running around. We got through that, and then the adventure started, and it's tiring. It's tiring. I'm a fat ass. It was really hard to run all the way around that table 30 or 40 times. Skinny man.
Skinny man. So I kind of want to at some point just run a troll game of Traveler where everybody does their first thing, their first term, and then have them role play with each other for a while, and then run another term and have them role play with each other for a while, and have 4 hours of character creation, and then let them know that they actually ran the game. Exactly like the book Starship Troopers,
right?
Where the entire book is them actually getting to the battlefield, right? And it's looks like we're done. Good game, you guys. They're like, oh, we just role played and we didn't even know it. We just thought we were making games.
It's a fair point, actually.
How fun would that be?
For the record, that is my dream game that you just described.
No, that's a great game.
Yeah. So somebody run that who isn't me because I can't put things together at all.
I could run that.
Because it turns
I could
out
run that in September.
Yeah. I'm ADHD as fuck. So don't let me do it.
Really?
You do
I
it.
could not tell.
No. My confidence about September just keeps growing and growing.
So in the adventure, this game takes place in not Vast Dominions. What's the other one called? Ashes of Exodus. So like generation ships go out hundreds of years ago, and then they discover FTL drive, and they go to all these planets where these people. There's been a huge drift in societal evolution, and hilarity ensues. So I just want to point out Davey rolled up as happens in Traveler, and I gave them like 3 coins, and I said, you can throw one of these coins back to me if you want to ever re-roll anything. And you never used one? You never used one. He rolled up the shittiest character you could possibly roll up in Traveler.
Oh, that's so rad.
I love
And
that.
Good for you.
And he embraced this character.
Good for you.
Good for you.
This is what I love about Traveler. It's not about making the most awesome space marine from hell. It's about making a completely fucking worthless guy who got kicked out of community college when he just wanted to be a lawyer.
An actual human.
Yeah, and ended up a drifter because that's the only job that would take him. So
Drifter isn't actually a job. Yeah.
Right.
It's quite. It's entirely the opposite of having a job.
And somehow they,
Oh, you get to be your own boss.
Who has had the opposite of a job and lived in a homeless community for 4 years. You're wrong. It's absolutely a job, and fuck you.
Oh no, it's hard work. It's not a job.
just describe yourself as a space lawyer, and everybody will take you seriously.
So one of the things that I love about Traveler is my friend Xing just wanted to make she wanted to have like this very elegant ambassador, and instead ended up a mechanic. And she was really pissed.
That really fits for Xing, actually.
Because that's what she does.
That's her
really
real life. Yeah.
Angry about it, and that angriness and that bitterness came out into the character.
Oh, it was great.
And it was the best thing ever. And that's one thing that I love about it. It's like, I want to be a lawyer, but I flunked out of community college because I just can't even concentrate, and I really like gin.
In my case, it was because I got space cancer.
Space cancer. Space cancer, that's even nothing. It's like, fuck, I have space cancer. I have to, take 4 years in the hospital, and now I'm out, and I have all these bills.
And they kick you off the planet.
And they kick you off the fucking goddamn planet. Fuck these people. And it's like this sob story. But then you go beyond that. And I think that's what heroism... No, hold on. You're actually doing something.
Well, okay, so... we had Stu very adeptly had us forge bonds between the characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the character in his past had been falsely accused of a crime in the Navy and been broken down, lost his commission, and kicked out of the Navy as a result.
Guess who his lawyer was?
See, and
You
that's
were his
great.
lawyer?
Even if you're a balls lawyer, even if you suck, like Xing's character got adopted by Bill's character, who was basically a Yakuza boss times a million. And these bonds are formed between people because of the bullshit that happens. I think that's a sort of thing that happens in character creation and Traveler that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I do regret that you can no longer die in character generation.
Oh, you can.
Oh, you can. Yo, you can.
You can.
Yeah. It's an optional rule.
Especially if you wind up in prison.
If anyone would have died in character creation, it would have been me.
It can. It's really hard. It's really rare, but it is possible.
If you roll a low enough physical stats, it's possible that you could actually die.
I didn't have anything higher than a 3.
Holy fuck!
You
that's
didn't wind up in
awesome.
prison.
Oh my god, that's the greatest character ever. Oh my
not
god,
low
I
enough.
want to play that character so badly.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have your
mean,
character
if-
sheet still?
If story is conflict, I was nothing but story.
So if you, especially if you wind up in prison, because you can get stuck in prison and you can't actually stop your character creation until you get paroled, and you don't get anagathics while you're in prison. You can actually die during
all
character
right.
creation, but that's almost the only way it
I
can
guess
happen.
it could have gone worse.
Yeah.
I say that to
Never
myself.
underestimate the power of worse.
I say to myself that every day. It could literally be worse.
I just want to say there was one combat in the game, and he did the funniest thing during that combat. Please describe that.
Everybody else has like laser. Chris has a laser rifle that she's a crack shot with and everything. And I'm a space lawyer, so I come out of the legal
And the bad
library and
one.
I see there's a fight going on. So I open my briefcase, I take off my brogues, my lawyer shoes, and I put on my ballet slippers. And everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, well, I know French kickboxing.
Oh my god, you know Savate.
I do savate, and so
Ah!
I just like
And your battle cry.
Grand Jeté!
That's awesome. Oh my god, I love this character so much. I want them to have a T-shirt. What's his name?
T.
the TV
Oxnard
show.
Shadbush,
What's
space
it?
lawyer.
Say again.
T. Oxnard Shadbush, space lawyer.
That's fucking awesome.
That needs to be coming this fall.
That is as awesome as Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was the worst character ever, and I've never had more fun at a pickup game at a con. I mean, it was great.
See, and I think that really like shows the point of having bad characters doesn't mean having a bad time. And I think we
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And we get into that worry a lot, especially me who likes crunch. Of like, how can I make a useful character? And the answer is that you really don't have to. Right. Sometimes the character sheet does keep you down.
Oh, come on.
And instead you have a great time having a fucking shit character. And so really what it is letting go. Letting go of all of the bullshit and finding the fun of having this character. A great character or a shit character.
Snow falls white on the mountain tonight.
But seriously, like having fun with somebody terrible is great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And one of the things that I find myself trying to make especially in like the 20th anniversary White Wolf games is a shit character. And a terrible character because
good
they're
luck in
really
White
fun.
Wolf.
And Traveler is goddamn amazing for having a shit character and having a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah, I can distinctly remember the process of like being a teenager and trying to make like the kickinest, kick-ass Shadowrunner of all time, and like super invested. Like I gotta have this gun and this much ammo, and also cast spells and hack every computer, and I gotta be good at everything. And then getting older and eventually realizing like, oh wait, if your character has some flaws, that's kind of interesting. And
Right.
we're telling a story, and it's not just a video game. And like starting to dig into the meat of that is so fun.
Oh yeah, it's like this L5R game I got kicked out of. I got kicked out of this game because I had this idea for the martial artisan. And it was this artisan, it was a artisan character that was a crane artisan who had like Mizudo and had all these things and could kick fucking anybody's ass. But it was an artisan, it wasn't a bushi. That wasn't like the character's place to be doing that. Instead, I like fought everybody and looked in everybody's eyes that I shouldn't have and like made all this like fucking problems because I wanted to kick some ass. And I kicked some ass. And I got kicked out of the game because that's not what we were doing. That wasn't the point of the game.
Right.
Right? The point of this game was to be nice and be cordial, etc. And I didn't want to do that. And so, like, playing with the game and playing with yourself and trying to find, like, what is interesting, playing with yourself is a great thing.
It's good and a healthy.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
To find what is interesting. No. To find what is interesting is oftentimes being bad at something. Being a space lawyer in a combat is being bad at something, but it can be hilarious and it can be interesting. And I think that's a thing that is a good takeaway for those of us who have been playing for a while and don't necessarily need to be the best at something. So really what this is masturbate, is what I'm saying. Like, literally and figuratively, when we're playing games, jack off.
Not really. That's not what he means.
No,
That's
no,
not
don't
what
do
he
it
means.
literally.
No.
Don't do it, please. For the love of God. I'm
Keep it to
joking.
yourself.
I'm joking and I'm fucking with you.
So, at 2 o'clock today, I played in the Demigods game at 2 o'clock. And we all made our characters, and I made a character that was based on the Trickster. The idea of a
Coyote.
Loki-esque guy that just likes messing with people. But I chose nothing that would contribute to combat at all. I literally added... I had the ability to sort of just arrive places that I needed to. And I used that magic by opening doors. So I'd open a door, and then through the door, whatever door it was, would be where I wanted to be. I then chose a multinational paramilitary corporation that I was the CEO of.
Wait, what?
Yes. Because it didn't give me any skills. It just gave me resources to play around with. And the game began, and we saved the barista of the coffee shop down below us in my building that I leased out space to. And then we decided we were tasked with stopping this zombie dinosaur apocalypse from the liberated tar pits. And off we went down the street from my building on Wilshire in Los Angeles. Look it up if you don't live here.
I know exactly where that is.
But I decided that my Trickster God was very much in the line of, you know what? Like one of the other players was like, oh yeah, you totally have like a custom stretched Tesla. And I was like, no, I have a custom stretched giant Humvee.
Oh, wow.
That burns
I've
like
seen those that have like 4 wheels in the back.
Yeah.
The definition of unnecessary.
Oh yeah, 100%. But like literally, like he was like, and you keep like a vat of burning oil on the roof just to prove that you're the boss. And I went, yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. But we get to a point where all of us arrive at the tar pits. A giant tar-covered Tyrannosaurus skeleton is emerging from the tar to ravage Los Angeles. Exactly.
So, by the way, a good friend of mine is like a researcher, like at the liberated tar pits, and like pulls shit out of that like all the time, and that is legit as fuck.
That's great because I pulled that whole thing out of my ass.
No. It pulls out of the tar. Pulls out of the tar.
You don't know what he has up his ass.
The first thing that happens when we arrive is giant tar-covered Tyrannosaurus skeleton is coming out of the tar. The spellcaster of the group decides to try and freeze it. Instead, rolls horribly and lights it on fire.
I think you mean he rolled excellently and sets it on
No,
fire.
because the fire didn't hurt it in any way. It just made it more dangerous for the rest of us.
Well, if you are trying to reduce the amount of kinetic energy in the tar,
and he's easier to see,
and you fuck up and increase the amount of kinetic energy in the tar, that is a legit reason to have it light on fire.
The thing I love about Apocalypse World games is we sat down, we spent over an hour making characters. And I had made, in my mind, what was the epitome of the arms dealer. He was super well put together, super wealthy, owned this building on Wilshire in Los Angeles.
Like a Tony Stark in your mind.
Yeah, very much. Like super composed.
You had a lot of Boeing stock.
Yeah, like I was literally like there was a neon globe in the lobby of my building that said the world is mine. Like that was very much my guy. And as soon as shit hit the fan, I turned into Bozo the Clown.
I cannot tell you how happy that makes me.
We jump in my giant stretched Humvee and drive to the tar pits. I pull down a hidden panel and remove a giant 50 caliber machine gun because I'm an arms dealer and paramilitary organization leader. And I pop out the sunroof of my stretched Humvee and begin to shoot a Tyrannosaurus that's on fire in the face. It then gets angry and spits burning tar on me. My gun is ruined. I am still alive because I'm a demigod. I jump out of the car.
It turns out firearms don't work great covered in burning tar.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So I am literally crying right now.
He is. I can see the tears.
I then jump out of the car and dispatch a drone from the tailgate that searches the area for our target, find the target. Other demigods sprint up this 10-story building to stop him. I think to myself, oh, this is a good place for a joke. This is going to be great.
The trickster god.
That's absolute. I'm a trickster god. That's what I have to do. I pull out what looks like a straight-up RPG. It is a rocket-propelled grenade, but it's not explosive in any way other than the fact that it's filled with glitter.
I don't know how I could love you any more than I do right now.
I rolled to shoot this glitter grenade at our opponent on top of this building, but because I was in a hurry and I rolled horribly, because that's what I do in games.
Yeah, like not even close. Like this was like, what'd you get? Like a 3?
Yeah.
Like it's real bad on 2 dice.
By the way, I was literally here for that exact point, and it was like a 4? I think it was a 3 and a 1. Like I saw those actual dice.
Yeah. And I didn't pick up the RPG correctly because I had no actual combat skills. I picked up the RPG facing the wrong direction. I fired it into the ground, feet behind me, and filled my trousers with glitter.
I can think of no way in which this could possibly end badly.
Then one of the other gods decides to convince my driver to pull Luke in a airspeeder and circle this Tyrannosaur with a cable. As I'm just sprawled on the ground covered in glitter.
Your driver just leaves you behind.
He just drives off. It's fine. It's all good. Like, I just turned into a comedic joke of the character that I had in mind.
Oh, man. Welcome to my fucking life.
At the end of the game, I had such a good time. And that's what the Apocalypse games are about.
It's a game. It's supposed to be fun.
Like, just roll with the punches or the horrible dice failures, in my case, because I have co-GM'd with Stork for a long time. And I like to say it's sort of like the Dread Pirate Roberts, and I've grown accustomed to the failure.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah, so for me, it's, I say his bad luck is like my iocane powder, but it's not. It's not. It rubs off, and
you're
then
not
it haunts
immune
me
to
every
it?
day.
Not entirely. He's resistant.
Yeah, I have like minor resistance to it. Every once in a while, I'll roll dice and go, "Oh, I did something."
I don't recall you having a single successful roll at the game today.
Nope.
Okay.
You know what? That's okay. That's also one of the reasons why the game Mask is pretty cool, because every time you fail a roll, you get a experience point, and 5 of those gets you a advancement. So
unfortunately, that is not the case in Demigods. You do
So-
not get threads from failing.
beside that point, sucking oftentimes is hilarious. Yeah. But
And it formed a character that I loved.
right.
And this is absolutely like my wife's mantra when it comes to gaming, which is bad idea is best idea.
Or the fact that we as humans learn from failing. And that's
Absolutely.
really something to learn from all of this, is that we learn as players from sucking. Because if we actually succeed, we don't know if that's just a die roll or your plan. Right?
Yeah.
And actually failing isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, failing is its own reward. Really.
No. That is 100% correct.
Yeah, I am not sarcastic right now.
Yeah. So we need a T-shirt that says "Failing, is its own reward," along with "Goddamn amazing."
Yeah.
Right.
It is both things.
All right. Any other games real quick? Come on. We're getting close to 10 here.
All right, here we go.
What do you mean, yeah?
No. I mean, I'm going to be quick. All right. So at
That's what she said.
Thank you. So at 2 p.m., I had the fucking delight to play in Goth as Fuck.
Wait, hold on. This is relevant to my interests. I would like to subscribe to your
Ladies
newsletter.
and gentlemen, Dave Kazay wrote a game called Goth as Fuck, where I would like to say, they're trying to get him up here. I would like to say that the most important decision that you had to make in that game was, what is your goth name? And so I went with Alejandro Confession.
Holy shit, that's a great name, especially for you. But oh my god,
I am a better person for learning this.
Alejandro Confession.
My favorite pickup line was, would you like to make confession?
Yes, I would. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what the fuck that even means.
I might like to
but
make
yes.
confession twice.
Unfortunately, as it turns out, I am not, in fact, goth as fuck. My wife, by an order of magnitude, is goth as fuck. And if she won't get up, maybe Dave can tell everyone why.
Hold on. I don't believe you. Prove it.
Here she comes. Shooting daggers with her eyes.
Thanks, husband.
Oh, you're sleeping on the couch.
I am, in fact, goth as fuck. I am a 2-time winner of goth as fuck. And as Dave will probably state, I am a lot meaner than he anticipated.
That's yet another woman he's afraid of.
We had 3 stats. We had snark, we had looks, and we had moves. And I was goth as fuck at snarking. I could talk some mad shit. And I scared even myself a little bit. Which made me goth as fuck. Yeah. And I was Raven Winters.
Tis true.
What's your name?
Raven Winters.
Raven Winters?
Yes, Raven Winters. Which is goth as fuck.
That is goddamn fucking goth as fuck.
It's
Legitimately.
The single defining moment for me of the game was when I was staring down at Dave Kazay, who was in the moment portraying not one but two 21-year-old young women who had come to the goth club on their birthday.
Was it believable?
Oh, yes.
And
the way he runs it,
I
yes.
had to make a choice. I had to make a snap decision. Do I roleplay fucking these two 21-year-old girls with
Yes!
this
The answer
adult
is yes!
man in front of me, or do I fade to black? And I had to look at him and said, Dave, I need a veil. That was the defining moment.
Oh my god, it's so good. Okay, you people on the intertubes who actually watched this like with video haven't seen the thing that I just saw, which is goddamn amazing. And you need to just pretend that you see somebody seducing
Dave Kazaya
that you
swooning
see this
into
guy
Kurt Potts' arms. That's
falling for confession.
Hello, Dave. Come here.
It's
I
so
wanna hear about
good.
Dave. I want to hear about this goth as fuck game. Can
Okay,
you give us, like, your elevator pitch?
I am goth.
Give us your elevator pitch. Hold on.
Wait. What do they do?
What do they do?
They talk shit about one another. Have you ever been to a goth club before? My God, I don't know what you're thinking about, but anybody who knows, you
No,
either
you've been to a
look
goth
cool
club.
or you talk shit about other people so you look better.
I have I was in college by the time goth started, so no.
I wasn't, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, this was a pamphlet game that we decided to put out that was similar to what Grant Howitt was doing in terms of like lasers and feelings, and Honey Heist, which is bears doing bank heists, and so was my idea saying, okay, well, what are we going to do? And obviously, we needed to do something that was making fun, but also in a loving way.
An homage.
An homage, if you will, an homage of it was of Gothic music and the Gothic scene and so what have you.
Hold on. Did I just hear that this is for sale on Drive-Thru RPG?
It is
for $1.99.
$1.99.
I am going to buy that. The
Why?
moment.
Why, Tappy? Why?
Because that's goddamn amazing. and also really true. Having been part of LA's goth industrial scene for 20 fucking years. Absolutely, some people talking shit about each other is 100% what it's all about.
Just kidding, by the way. With the Gothic community, it's very inclusive.
Oh no.
You can always believe a man that laughs.
I'm okay.
Stop that laughing.
So, no.
And what's really screwed up about this is that I know that there are so many photos of me wearing the guy liner and all that, so I feel really comfortable about this. So
No, he's right. It's very, very inclusive of who
yeah,
you
they
talk
hate
shit about.
everyone equally.
No, it really is.
Yeah, you'll talk shit about anybody.
So actually, no, it was actually a really great game, and the plots, of course, are both lovely and frightening, both of them in equal ways. So it was a really good game, and we had a lot of fun. So
yeah,
I'm sad that Tomes left because I just wanted to announce my next game. You want to know what I'm working on, Stu?
Yeah.
It's called 10 Roman Candles.
In an indoor setting.
So whenever there's a mistake or like anybody fails a roll, there you go.
Who the fuck
I've
are
been
you?
sitting on this goddamn joke an hour and a half, you bitches!
I want to talk about my scene again. It's amazing.
Fuck you guys!
Who are
wait,
you?
do I do it? Yeah.
Okay, who are you and how do I not know you? I'm angry that I don't know you. No, we're gonna role play, and it's gonna be awesome.
Wait. I just want to watch.
I'll sell tickets.
So you're gonna watch going, oh yeah, no, keep going. Keep going.
Keep role playing. Keep role playing.
Slower.
Do it.
Slower.
Faster.
Don't look at me.
Okay, look at me. All right, that's how
we done?
I'm sorry that I showed up. I didn't mean to.
Bullshit, you're not sorry.
I just killed myself. All right. Are we done?
Hey,
Anything else? What? Go.
So, if you're watching this from your hotel room here at the con, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I've probably got a couple spots in Tales from the Loop.
Nice.
Oh, really? How
Arcade
many?
generation.
Because I got two kids that love to play in your game.
And the thing about the Tales from the Loop game, which Dave hasn't been saying quite as loudly as I think is so fucking cool. The story is sort of tangential to the story that we're actually playing on the stream every other week, and so the shit that happens in this game is going to turn up in our game. The kids that you play there will become part of the story that Dave's weaving for us on the stream. So I'm super excited to see what comes out of that because I'm not allowed to join the game. So have fun.
Oh, so I want to give a brief shout out to my friend Kay, who is also running the Saber Legion here at the con. Yeah,
that's the lightsaber people.
It's the lightsaber people who are doing it's lightsaber combat. Kay he and I started the role playing club at my high school back when I was fucking 14. He's also the reason why I got into sushi and like a whole bunch of stuff that changed my life. So he's a great guy, and he has been doing martial arts forever, and you absolutely should hook up with him if you are interested in sword combat or lightsaber combat at all.
So
Sorry. I just splashed beer in my eye and it hurt really bad.
That's
Oh, thank God people weren't laughing at me. I was really worried. Like, what am I saying that's fucking funny?
That's not where beer goes.
It's like iocane powder. It'll hurt a little less each time.
So real quickly, at 9 o'clock this morning, I signed up for Tales from the Loop game, thinking it was Kadev's game. And I was completely wrong.
Fooled you.
But it was a hell of a lot of. So it was a hell of a lot of fun. The guy who ran it was originally from Los Alamos, New Mexico, and so he set the game in Los Alamos, New Mexico. And one of the players signed up thinking, "Oh, I'm from Los Alamos, New Mexico," and he brought his son and his fucking high school yearbook from Los Alamos High School.
That's way too real. That's way too real.
I'm like, what the fuck? Two people had never met each other. One was class of 90, one was class of 86. They were 4 years apart.
funny.
Having gone to the same high school in Los Alamos, like, oh, so you know about this and this and this and this. And it was just all automatic immersion.
In fact, that's 5 years. I'm sorry. I tried to stop myself from saying it, but it's actually 5 years. So that's 5 years.
Graduated in 86, graduated in 90.
Ladies and gentlemen,
90.
I would like to tell you that I know bullshit about 1982 Boulder City, Nevada. And everything in my game is completely made up, and we'll have a good time.
So,
if you bring a yearbook from Boulder City, Nevada in 1982, fuck you.
However, if you know anything about early 1990s, San Dimas High School.
San Dimas High School football rules!
And how their football rules, I know everything about that. Now nothing was goddamn afoot at the fucking Circle K there.
Later in the 90s, apparently it was, because my roommate went to San Dimas.
Are you really from the San Gabriel Valley?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm from Laverne, which is right next to San Dimas. And I absolutely hung out at the Circle K in San Dimas. And whoever your friend is that went to San Dimas High School, fuck that guy. Oh, okay. Because
I'm exactly on the other side
What?
of San Dimas High School is the center point between your and my life.
Okay, so wait. So many of you don't know this. You've heard San Dimas High School football rules. It A, doesn't, and B,
Nope.
San Dimas is themed Western.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
There was the Wild West between Tappy and my childhood.
It's hilarious how Western themed it is.
However, I think we just realized that the game that you two are co-GMing in September is the San Dimas High School Football Rules PBTA hack.
Oh my God, it is, and fuck you for saying that.
My body is ready.
For now.
I literally cannot wait for this game. I wish it was next week.
Right. All right. We're done. I think we're done. We're done? We're done? All right.
We'll
Thank
see
you for
you in
joining us.
hell.
Thank you for joining us for season 21, episode 7 of Happyjacks RPG Podcast. My name is Stu.
I am Kadave.
I'm Jason.
I'm Kurt.
And I am Tappy.
And our live studio audience. Thank you very much. We'll leave you with a song.
Let's sing the song. We haven't done that sing-along in a long time.
And he's a laser printed hero.
A big white castanet. Oh, and if you flub a dice roll, you may
just end up dead. Oh, forget about your backstory, your family and foe. And if you miss a dice roll, that's just how the story goes.
All right.
I'm not sorry.